Best DLC I've played. I think Old Hunters beats it. And the only reason is because I think Bloodborne is just a more interesting game to play because of combat. I really do. I feel like almost the wide vastness of how you can play Elden Ring. I started to feel it in some of the bosses here, where it's like, this boss wants me to play this way. Like it wants me to do this way, or else I'm just gonna suffer. And I don't mean just like summons or mimic tier. I mean like, you know, like a shield or some shit. In Bloodborne, the game doesn't give you nearly that many options, but I feel like the focus of a game like Bloodborne makes the interactions really specific. Like, okay, well, you're gonna play this game this way, but you're really gonna enjoy it. For example, Sekiro does the exact same shit. The exact same shit. To me, Sekiro goes a bit too far, and it doesn't feel like there's enough variety. I don't feel black or white about any of this stuff, right? So Elden Ring is like almost too much variety, lacks focus, but such a vast scape of things you can do. Sekiro, way too focused. It's great, but you only get like this one kind of way to play the game. And it's like, Bloodborne is like right in between. It's like right specifically, like right there where it's like, okay, well, clearly we want you to engage the game in this way. There's some other ways to play it, but this is kind of how you're going to do it. It's like the perfect mixture of all of them. Again, each game is amazing because they are different. These games at the surface look like they're all the same shit. Don't get me wrong. They really do. Like a Street Fighter 2 to like a Super Turbo. They look like the same shit, dude. But to me, it's like the little differences vastly change how you can play it. The one thing I will give this DLC is this map is amazing. This map is so much more better than this map. And I thought this map was really good. But with perspective now, half this map kind of sucks. Half this stuff is not great. It's only okay. To me, to be real, dude, this map was like, the whole thing was like a FromSoft dungeon with like incredible level design stuff and discovery, constantly like looking at this place, having these focal point of views of just like, wow, that's over there, but that's over there. How do I get there? Jesus, I got here from here. And you get that sometimes, but a lot of these maps are so segregated. Like you don't really get a lot of experience of any other map from Limgrave. Caelid is sort of isolated in its own way. So is Liurnia. And then this is all, these are all super isolated areas, right? So to me, there was a point of like looking to the distance and discovering shit of just like, God damn, here, I want to use an example right here. So from this spot, wonderful thing when you enter this place is that you get these huge focal points. Every time you enter a FromSoft dungeon, it does this. You get this big sprawling like visual of just like, okay, so there's this massive thing in the distance. There's a couple of things in front of me. There's some shit like a couple miles away, but the stuff that's really far away is super far away. I didn't feel that as much with the initial Elden Ring regular map. It didn't feel like that was as intense. Now the whole game does it. Like every area I go to sort of like routes back around. Oh my God, I'm here. Wait, I'm here. Whoa, I'm here now. Like, wait, we got all the way down to here. And as soon as you start this DLC, you quickly see all of these areas. Like everything you're seeing here is visitable. The fact that the crazy pretty like, you know, area with all the trees and shit is visible from right there, and you seemingly do not just go straight there. You don't go straight there, you don't go straight there. This is exactly what they do in dungeons. When you enter a dungeon in any FromSoft game, you get this big sprawling like, okay, so here's what we're working with, time to go in. The base game map didn't do that. Not nearly as much. This one did. And what I love about this shit is that you see all this shit and you're just like, okay, yeah, dude, there's so much to do here, but then you're not seeing you're only seeing the first layer, and then it goes down more and it goes down more beyond that. So what I really dug is that the first thing I saw when we ran through, when we did this shit was all this. Bro, you can see the Cerulean coast. I did not even know that. I was looking down here at this crazy like blood lake, and then you saw the dragon. So constantly the game was giving me these visuals. This is around the next corner. That's around the next corner. And I was all the time I was just like, wow, so we can go over here. There's this I saw. Maybe we can get over there. The whole game did that, dude. The level design is on fucking point. And they applied it to the entirety of the game. They applied it to every single area and not just the dungeons. I loved it. I absolutely loved it, dude. Nothing was linear of just run down there. Like, no, to get to these areas is weird and how it all intertwines. It's classic FromSoft level design, the best level design literally in the industry. And they applied it to an area of the game that confines it all in a zone that you feel at the same time. The difference between that and the base map is that the base map is segregated. This area, you don't really get any taste of this area, of Liurnia from Limgrave. You get a little bit of Caelid sometimes from this area, but Liurnia is very separated from these other areas too, from Mountaintops of the Giants, right? Like, all of these are like in different chunks and pieces. And you quite literally have to like make gap jumps from one spot to the other. Oh, now we have a big new zone. This area does a good job at the start from here where it gives you that feeling, right? I think here. There's like 3 key points when you get to this area, and I love this shit. There's obviously like big tree thing over there, this castle thing over here, which I think might be the Choich, and obviously big tower thing over there and stuff in the distance. I love this shit. I absolutely love this shit. But getting to these places is pretty straightforward, you know? And there's kind of like the traditional 3 pathway where it's like, okay, so we can go over there, there, or there. And you kind of just go there. Dude, in the DLC, it is not that way. In the DLC, when you first like get to this area, you see these things and you're like, bro, okay, so I'm going to start heading in this direction. And every time you head in a direction, something crazy happens. Every point, if you choose to go down that way, if you choose to go over there, if you choose to go over there, it'll eventually siphon you to these points. Bro, I love it. I loved it so much. I liked it way more than the base game. In terms of everything else, the bosses were nice, but I have not run into jank bosses like that, a couple of these jank-ass bosses, in a long time. I think that's one of my criticisms, is that some of the bosses in the DLC are really shit. I was almost surprised by it. Gaius was the first one that I was really surprised by, right? Gang fight is meant to be fought with other people too. The hippo wasn't so bad for me, but I don't know. Some of them were just like, having Gaius constantly getting stuck on walls in run animation and he can't be interrupted and he doesn't stop running until you get close to him and he has to hit you. I'm like, this is bad. This is actually bad. And then you get fights like Mesmer. And I no shit feel like Mesmer was one of the best fights in Souls games, period. Arguably one of my top 5. I'd have to actually start thinking about it. Weapon-wise, I really tried to hover on other weapons. And I wish I used like the big meat thing. But I tried to like the Curse Blade stuff, the circular weapons. I didn't end up liking them that much. The fist punch weapons ended up being really slow, which kind of surprised me. The claw weapons were pretty fun, but they were really rough against some bosses. I don't know if the weapons did it for me in the ways that I was expecting. Mesmer's spear, though, was clearly like the big one. And I finally engaged Elden Ring in a cheesy way, right? I finally engaged Elden Ring with cheese. And I got a taste of how easy this game is for some people. And I'm like, dude, every engagement, almost every engagement I had in my first playthrough was literally run up to monster and whack it. Sometimes throw magic at it and then whack it. Dude, to run around and be a piece of shit and just toss this shit at things constantly was hilarious. I was like, dude, this game got so much easier. Difficulty is 100% scalable, like absolutely is. So I don't know if I loved that about it. It was just so effective that I just kept doing it, you know? I think this is the second best FromSoft DLC. I do. I think it's the second best one with some incredibly cool fights. I appreciated the difficulty. I might be weird on that. At some point, I didn't realize we played through the unpatched review build of the game, which was way harder. The skidoo trees weren't scaled either, and I had to update my review build for the last fight because there was a massive amount of frame drops going on the final Radon fight, and the arena was too bright, and they patched that. So I updated the game, and apparently, yes, it fixed the frame drops in the final battle, changed the visuals, but that update also changes a whole bunch of the game, makes the skidoos a lot easier early on. So I didn't have any of that, man. And a lot of people were saying I was getting items in weird places. That definitely is going to be a exclusive to me kind of thing, because I played the DLC on the review build of the game for the most part. Either way, I do not think it beats Bloodborne, and I'm a Bloodborne bitch. You know, I'm a Bloodborne piece of shit bitch. So it's going to be hard for me. I also will say we got some better armor in this. I do not really like Elden Ring drip. I think Dark Souls 3 drip was better. I think Dark Souls 2 drip was better, to be real. And I think Bloodborne still has the best drip. I think it kind of bugs me how much I do not like a lot of the way the gear looks in this game, dude. It looks kind of nasty. And a lot of it is sort of like nasty drapery, some basic armors, and then some of them look really goddamn cool, like this shit. And it's like, whoa, that one's really cool. And then the majority of the other ones are like, kind of like, okay. At least the DLC introduced this stuff, Armor of the Night, right? That literally turns you into a friggin' ring wraith. That's cool. There wasn't enough of that. Like, there wasn't enough of this like really crazy looking armor. I mean, I am not really a goth enjoyer. I want cool paladin looking gear as well. I want that. And it's just that I just didn't get it. Yeah, dude, more stuff like this. More stuff like this. Come on. I don't think like the DLC significantly curbed the minor gripes I had with Elden Ring overall. All it did was really surprise me with the quality of map 2. This map is godlike, dude. The variety, how beautiful some of these places are. Like, I'm just gonna travel to these locations and show you the sprawling, I call them FromSoft vistas. Like, holy crap, dude. It is so friggin' pretty. It's so cool how they give you this, like, this look at all of this shit in this game. I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the way new areas are introduced to you. How they're just like around a corner. You're just like, hey man, what's down here? And then you see this. You're like, holy shit, dude. What is happening? This is crazy. That happened a couple of times in Elden Ring proper. And it felt like every single new area I went to was just like, holy god damn, dude, this is crazy. This is so cool. What I rated out of 10? If I was being realistic, like a 9.5, but Bloodborne's still a perfect 10 in my opinion. All this does is make me like scream to the heavens that we need a Bloodborne PC port in some way, because everyone's up this Souls ass now. Like, Souls is now mainstream, right? Like, Elden Ring is a mainstream thing. And people are going to be looking for more stuff like this, and you're not going to get it for a long time. But if Bloodborne got re-released in some way, that's the perfect game. It's like, dude, now, if you like that, try this. This is the next peak, you know? This is like ultra peak would be Bloodborne, but you need like PS4 to do it and shit. This game is like effectively super high art. Like really, really high art in terms of what the video game industry is. More so than most games. To the point where this game can actually achieve like a mainstream kind of success. To me, it's like the Souls games are kind of like that. They're kind of like high art kind of films, and you're either going to like them or not. And they've always been that way, but they become more and more culturally kind of accepted over time. I just adore it, dude. I adore it. Yeah, these games feel like the Kubrick of like the video games. They feel like everything is designed in a way to make you feel this way, to go here and look at this and guide the player, like super specific, where, you know, I don't know. I just think I adore Miyazaki's games so much. I feel like Elden Ring is the modern day Legend of Zelda, but just realized in a way that is unfathomably different than old school Legend of Zelda. It's a game that does not care if you miss shit. Discovery is priority number one, and the experience of discovery is like the ultimate in Elden Ring. I can't. It's better than Bloodborne, 100%. It just offers more. So without a doubt, like, I think there are things in Elden Ring. Again, I'll say it. I think Elden Ring and its DLC is a better game than Bloodborne and its DLC. There's personal things that attach me to Bloodborne way more. And I still think it's the same thing with the DLC map, even though I think the DLC map is like practically a sequel. It's just so much better than the original map. And again, the hero of these games, in my opinion, is the map. The hero is not the combat. The hero is not The story, I'll be real. It's not with these games, at least with me. The hero is like the dungeons that are in this map and the map itself. And I feel that that was handled better in the DLC than it was in the main game. I really do. I don't know. I can't even think of any specific area I did not like. I really can't. Every zone was so cool. Do you think FromSoft should return a more linear style open world like Elden Ring? Well, I think they learned a lot with this game. So I think I'm ready for a traditional Souls-like.